It is the truth of every battle that has ever been, until the day of the Divine One.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time again. It's so great to catch up.
No, thanks for taking an interest, Tessa. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Always. The last one was so great too, you know?
Oh, thanks. It was so fun. I mean, I love Blood of Zeus, so let's talk about that first. So excited. I loved season 2. I binged right through it. But I want to know, how did it feel that you were still able to be a part of it? Because, you know, after the end of season 1, we weren't sure if Zeus was going to be around much.
I know. And I kind of thought, well, maybe because I'm playing Zeus and it's called Blood of Zeus. Obviously, it's about, you know, my son, but I am supposed to be like the most powerful god out there. So you can't really kill Zeus, just like you can't really kill Superman or whatever. So I had an inkling they would try and get me back. I just didn't know how, you know. So I thought it was really creative the way they did all that, especially in that first episode back. The way they kind of went back and told the same story just from a different point of view. Mm-hmm. And kind of gave a whole new spin on the season 1 finale. So I thought it was cool, and I was just excited to still be a part of it, frankly, and hoping I'll still be a part of it as we hopefully move on to season 3.
I know. I hope so. I mean, I think the fact that people stuck around for almost 4 years waiting for season 2 shows that we'll wait a little bit longer waiting for season 3.
Animation just takes so long. Like, it's so hard. It's hard for us too, because, you know, we've been talking about season 2 for like, it seems like years. And, you know, it just, between getting the stories right and the scripts and then recording and then sending it out to be animated, like frame by frame, scene by scene. And, you know, we were concerned. We thought that fans wouldn't remember, you know, because especially teenagers, they grow up in 4 years. But like, wow, what a reception. You know, some of the reviews have been amazing. I think we were in the top 10 most watched show on Netflix globally for a week. So that was very cool. Very cool. And the fans did remember, and they're so cool, so loyal.
Oh, they did. I mean, it was all over social media. People were like, it's back, it's back. Some people had thought had gotten canceled because it hadn't been so long. So people were like super excited when it came back. Yeah. And it was fantastic. It didn't disappoint. It was worth the wait, I said. Absolutely.
Good. I'm glad. And I think that was the take from most kind of critics, reviewers, and even fans, that it was worth the wait, that it might have even been slightly better than season 1, and that it's just going from strength to strength, which is great, because obviously we want season 3 to be even more fantastic.
Absolutely. And then what is it like working with the brothers? Because I've gotten to talk with them a few times, and they're fantastic. They're so much fun.
Yeah, they're lovely. They're like, initially I was like, are these guys for real? Because they're so genuinely sweet, Charlie and Blas. And I was like, am I being pranked or something? Like, this is Hollywood. People act kind and sweet, but they're not actually kind and sweet mostly. But these guys are, like, they're actually this nice. And then, you know, so I just got back from Crete. My dad spends half the year in Crete. So I spent a few days out there. And Greece is such a lovely place. And the people are so nice and friendly. And when you go to Greece, you see how nice the people, and then it all makes sense when you meet Charlie and Blas, because you're like, oh, okay, yeah, they're Greek. Yeah, they're just really nice Greek people.
Yeah, I mean, my maiden name's Alexopoulos, so I'm part Greek as well. So, but I've never been out there, and I'm dying to go out there because I hear it's beautiful.
Oh, you must. It's just so gorgeous. It's like being in an alternate universe. Like, it's just and you're always within touching distance with the past. It's such an ancient place. There's something spiritual about that. I think you'd love it.
Oh, I love it. Well, I can't wait. I'm definitely going to check it out for sure. But let's talk about, so you play a Greek god, literally, I would say the Greek god. Even.
The Greek god, yeah.
The Greek god. But what has playing him taught you about the human condition?
Oh, it's really interesting. Well, I suppose what's interesting to me is that the Greeks ascribed their own behaviors and ways of thinking to the gods, their own flaws. So Zeus is far from perfect. He is, he's out there and he's in, he's disloyal to his wife, and he's making all these mistakes, and he's not always a great father, and he's trying to make up for that. And so they basically put all of, our flaws as humans onto the gods. And so the gods themselves and their dealings plays out like a kind of a soap opera, except that they're gods. And so they have, superpowers and stuff. It really is the original kind of superhero myth, So what does that say about us? I suppose it says that we are always, I think we're always interested in watching how we interact, but we like to do it allegorically, I think the same way we might use like science fiction now, the Greeks back then were using the gods. And it's kind of weird if you think about it, because it's almost, is that a form of heresy to kind of go like, the gods weren't perfect and they were off kind of all shagging each other and fighting each other and everything. They weren't perfect, but apparently that was all acceptable,
Yeah, I know. Well, it's so funny because I'm like, you would think the gods have it all together, and you can even tell in season 1, but especially even in season 2, they do not have it all together.
They do not have it all together. And you wonder where these stories came from. I mean, they're so ancient that the myths each myth can be interpreted in so many different ways, and so many different writers try to, get this stuff down and make it kind of, make a solid story out of it. But I think that's what Charlie and Vlas do so well. They take a myth, which could be almost anything, because it's even written in an ancient Greek language, and existed hundreds, if not thousands of years before anything was written down. And you can kind of do anything with it, like it's okay. There isn't really, it's not like Shakespeare. There isn't like one way to do it. So yeah, I really like the sort of poetic license they took with it. You needed a form of irreverence to kind of make those stories come alive and feel so fresh. Yeah. I mean, we all know Greek myths, like we were brought up on them, as kids and whatever, but there is something really fresh about Blood of Zeus. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And that's what I love. And like, it's so funny because my daughters, one of their favorite things they learned about in school was the Persephone story. And so we got to, I showed them only a little bit of that episode. They're 11 and 12, so I haven't shown them all of Blood of Zeus yet. But we watched a lot from that episode in particular. And they were like, whoa, this is like kind of the same story, but it's a little different too.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Love, which I like.
Yeah, love and family, and there's a whole. I'm sure you noticed, but there's a whole like Star Wars subtext embedded in the story. That's really. I'm a big Star Wars nerd, so I was really kind of happy to do all that, especially like the kind of I get to do some Obi-Wan Kenobi stuff, training and Yoda stuff, and it's cool.
He's so cool. I can't wait for the Acolyte. I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, me too. I know.
I think it's going to be great.
The trailers are great.
Yeah, I've heard great things. So speaking of the gods and stuff, so they're obviously, like I said, they don't have it all together. So what do you think it says about them? Do you think they take care of their own mental health as we talk about,
Nice segue.
Yes, that's a great segue. It's a good one.
I don't think Zeus is not a good example.
No, he's not very much.
Zeus could do better as a man, I think.
Yes, I think you're right.
Even as a god.
Yes, even as a god. Well, so that's the thing. Do you think I feel like it's very apparent in the show, but I think a lot of them do struggle with that, especially Heron right now in season 2. He's struggling with his own issues and mental health. So can you talk about the importance of, actually dealing with your own mental health? Yeah,
well, I mean, look, so June Mental Health Week is coming up. It's 10th of June till the 16th of June. The 16th of June is Father's Day. Mm-hmm. So this all kind of ties in, everything we've been talking about. So it's not such a crazy segue. Yeah. And yeah, I think, look, I mean, the work Movember try to do is trying to sort of be a healthier man, right? So obviously, we talk about screening with prostate cancer, testicular cancer, learning to check yourself, with suicide prevention as well, but also just general fitness. Trying to make healthier choices in terms of daily fitness routine in terms of the foods that we eat, and also checking in on each other when it comes to the mental health stuff, and trying to build more of a communicative community of men, so that men can build happier and healthier lives, and thus happier and healthier families. So yes, Heron could really do with some Movember messaging.
Yes, I think he could. He's going through it, man. That poor kid. He is going through it. Well, you're a father yourself. So, you know, and like I said, I have 2 daughters, but so how did having a child kind of change your thoughts on the world? And like, you know, did you start to really, because you kind of start to worry about someone else besides yourself, which can also mess with your head. So what was that transition?
I know. Well, you said your girls are 11 and 12?
11 and 12, yeah, almost 13.
Have you become an Uber driver yet? Like a poorly paid Uber driver yet?
Yes.
Or is that ahead of you?
Yeah. Oh, yep.
Because that was basically his teenage years. That's what I was doing. So yeah. I just drove him from practice to parties to school to whatever, you know. And actually, that's kind of, I didn't mind it, because they're a captive audience, and you can actually kind of start having really good conversations with your kid in the car.
Yes.
Instead of just like turning up the radio and stuff, or just playing whatever, you know, thing they were asking. I remember he was obsessed with the Hamilton soundtrack. We just listened to it for like 2 years, 5 hours a day at the car. But to turn down the radio and kind of, and don't just ask like questions like, hey, so how was your day? How was school? It's like asking more specific questions, like, you know, what did you do that was interesting today? What was your favorite part of today? Like, was there something that upset you today? You know, that actually kind of, yeah, there was something that upset me. Yeah, actually, I did have fun today. As opposed to just those open-ended questions. And I actually have happy memories kind of most of those days, even though it was just a poorly paid Uber driver. Like, and then I was paid 0.
Right, exactly. But you get to keep them in there, right? Like if we're at home, they're off in their room, they're doing whatever. If I'm driving them somewhere, they've nothing else. They have to listen to me.
They're stuck, you know, you've got the child lock on, so it's great. They're stuck with mom.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. But yeah, they're already making plans. Like it's been 2 days of summer and they're like, I'm going to go to my friend's house this day. I'm going to do this. I'm like, okay, sure.
Yeah. It's hard.
It's hard, but I'm glad that they have that, you know, but then you have to worry about, are these people good influences? It's, again, all goes to, I'm taking care of my own mental health too.
Yeah, well, that's what's really important, I think, as the adults, and from a man point of view, it's about being the healthier man so that I can live by example, you know, so that, you know, I can go to the gym in the morning so my kid sees that I go to the gym and it's an important thing. It's an important part of my day. You know, I'm choosing to have a healthier meal and a healthier portion. Instead of telling him that he should do this and should do that, he can see that I'm making better choices. So it definitely inspires me to be healthier and better, and I hope that it kind of has some kind of long-term effect. He's doing pretty good. Like he's in second year in college now, so he's free to make all the poor choices that.
And this is what it comes to.
Yeah, but he's been doing pretty good actually. He looks pretty fit. He looks pretty well. He seems kind of happy, and you know, we got through some of those difficult teenage years, and he seems to have come out the other end. So I'm very grateful for that.
Oh, I love that so much. Did you have any words of wisdom about health that you passed on to him, or just kind of lead by example?
Yeah, I think leading by example, because everything else just sounds like do as I say, not as I do. And they already kind of, you know, think we boss them around too much. I think the culture of the behavior has a lasting effect, much more so than words. Of course, it's always a good time to tell your kid that you love them, but I think they really respond to that kind of the behavior, you know. And there have been times where he'll turn around to me and go, "Dad, I don't think you want that second piece of Nutella toast." And I'm like, "Yes, I do." And he's like, "No, you don't." I'm like, "Okay, I get it. Fair enough." So we can help each other, you know?
I was going to say, he's keeping you in check too. I love it.
Yeah, but Nutella toast is amazing if you haven't tried it.
I haven't, but my kids love Nutella. I've never tried it, but maybe I will
In
check
moderation.
it out. Maybe I shouldn't check it out. Maybe this is bad advice you're giving me.
No, in moderation. You know, it's a treat.
Yeah. Awesome.
I'm going to be fired as an November ambassador after this.
Yeah.
You're going around recommending Nutella, guys. It's full of trans fat. What are you doing?
But in moderation, so it's okay. That's good for your mental health, right?
That's
Give yourself
right.
a little bit.
That's right. You have to have little rewards.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today. And I really, really appreciate it. It was so great to catch up and talk again.
Thank you, Tessa. Thank you so much for making the time. And so glad you're enjoying Blood of Zeus Season 2, now streaming on Netflix.
Yeah, now streaming on Netflix. So watch it so that we can get Season 3.
Yay.
It's time, Heron. This is how you show the world who you really are.